Alright, dear children, we do continue with the example of surface tension that you are learning in the last YouTube video. Now there are other example of surface tension that we see in our day-to-day life, and number 2 example, let me just highlight, and that is bigger bubbles can be formed from the soap solution than from water. Okay, the bubbles can form by the water also, bubbles can even form by the soap solution. Okay, but why the soap solution can form bigger bubbles than the water? Now the reason behind it is that bubbles can form by the water. Like if you have pure water, this is for suppose pure water. And basically pure water has large surface tension. Large what? Surface tension. Okay. So if the bubbles is formed by the pure water, this bubbles is actually breaks at the very early stage due to high surface tension of water, because when the surface tension exerted, okay, it always acquire a minimum surface area. Okay, minimum surface area. Okay, so that's why what happened, due to large surface tension of water, okay, the bubbles basically what, the bubbles breaks at a very early stage, means it form a very small of water, bubbles of water breaks at a very what, early stage. Okay, let me just explain it, early stage. Okay, due to what, a large surface tension of what, water. But if I take a soap solution, if I take a what solution, soap solution, the soap is another form of another part of water, okay, where there is impurities content of soap. Okay, and in this case when soap solution is formed, okay, then this soap solution has less surface tension. Sorry, this is less surface tension. That means the soap solution surface tension is comparatively less compared to what, water. Okay, so usually what happens, the soap solution which has comparatively less surface tension as compared to water, so that due to this less surface tension, okay, so basically a bigger bubbles can be formed by the soap solution. So I can add a bigger bubbles are formed for what solution? Soap solution. So it is all determined that the value of surface tension, that whether to form a bubbles bigger than others or smaller than others. As I said just now, that if a surface tension is basically large, then the bubbles which is formed is not large, very small drop of bubbles or small drop of water is formed. Okay, and the formation of small drop of water is actually due to what? The more surface tension of water. But in case of soap solution, as I said, the bubbles can be formed larger because of less surface tension as compared to water. So in that case, the area in which the soap bubbles form is usually comparatively larger as compared because of less what, surface tension. So this makes that the formation of bubbles by the soap solution and water are not of same size. Okay, they form the soap bubbles, but they form the bubbles, but the size differ, and that differ in the size is because of the value of surface tension, which are not same. Now we go to the next example of surface tension, which is also interesting and important also. Okay, although as I said there are many examples of surface tension, but I will not discuss all the examples. Okay, but number 3 example that I am going to discuss is small drops of mercury are spherical, and you know mercury form droplets, a very small droplet which are basically what in shape, spherical in shape. Okay, but if while the large ones are flat, when the mercury form large droplet, then that large droplet of mercuries are usually what, flat. Okay, now why it happens, why the small drop of mercury are spherical in shape while large drops are what, flat, is also due to the what, surface tension. But in order to understand this part, okay, let me just take the example and let me follow this diagram. Okay, so when a drop of liquid, like we are taking the drop of liquid like what, mercury, okay, is poured on a what, glass plate. This is a glass plate. So this is a what plate? Glass plate. Okay, so when a drop of liquid like mercury is poured on a what plate? Glass plate, the shape of the drop is actually governed by 2 forces. See, the shape of the drop which is formed is actually governed by how many forces? 2 forces, and one force is the surface tension, one force is the what tension? Surface tension, and definitely next force is the what? Force due to gravity. Force due to what? Gravity. Okay. Now the drop acquire a shape. The drop acquire a shape in which its potential energy become minimum. The drop acquire a shape due to which its potential energy is minimum. Means potential energy means the energy due to the composition or the position of the molecules which acquire the formation of this particular drop or shape. Okay. So usually what happen in this case, if only surface tension act. Suppose if there is a drop which is formed on the if a liquid like mercury is dropped on a glass plate, okay, then what happen? If only a surface tension, so I am talking about if only a surface tension out of two forces were acting, then the potential energy of that drop would become minimum. Would become what? Minimum. And when the surface area of that drop is minimum, and so the drop would become spherical. So that means this drop which becomes spherical, if you look at this diagram, this drop is usually spherical in shape, and this drop is not large in size. This drop is very small in size. Okay. So why this drop becomes spherical? Because in this drop, okay, although the weight of the drop is there, but this weight of the drop is very negligible compared to surface tension acting on the liquid, or in case of mercury. So that out of two forces, as I said, one is surface tension and is force due to gravity. If the surface tension only predominates to form drop, then this potential energy of this drop become minimum. So that the surface area, okay, the surface area of the drop also become what? Minimum. When the surface area of drop become minimum, then due to this surface tension which make the surface area to be minimum, then the shape of the drop is basically form what? Spherical shape. So the formation of spherical shape of small drop of mercury is due to the what? Surface tension acting on the mercury, as compared more than the surface weight of the mercury which placed on the what? Glass plate. That's why children, for very small drop, formation of a very small drop, okay, so as I said, the potential energy, okay, the potential energy would become very minimum, and which is almost insignificant as compared to the what tension? Surface tension. So under this case, the shape of the what? Drop, as I said, the shape of the drop is actually determined by the what tension? Surface tension. So who is responsible for the formation of spherical shape? Is due to what tension? Surface tension. Okay, that's why we see the formation of small drop of mercury as what? Spherical. But children, for formation of larger drop, like for larger drop, these are the larger drop, you can see. Okay, so for the formation of larger drop, the gravity means the force due to gravity also plays an important role, okay, other than the surface tension. So under that case, what happens? The gravity has an appreciable role, and the drops which are bit flatten also, because the gravity is equally exerted on the drop, okay, as compared to surface tension, okay, and due to that gravity, okay, so usually what happens? The area which is formed by the drop is larger as compared to the spherical drop which is formed, okay, and due to that more gravity appreciable on that drop, the shape of the drop will not exactly become spherical, it almost become what? Flattened. That's why for large drops, for the formation of large drops, the potential energy due to that gravity also has a predominant role. That means the potential energy also become more. It's not minimum as case in the case of spherical drop. Whereas for formation of flattened shape of the drop, okay, the potential energy also have an important role because of more gravity acting on that drops. Okay, that's why the drop simply spread out. So the drop simply spread out and become flat on the glass plate, where you can see this is flat. The same what mercury, but it's become flat on the what glass plate, whereas a small drop of mercury become spherical, because out here surface tension is more appreciable, and only surface tension makes the formation of small drop, spherical drop, whereas out here surface tension also act, but gravity is equally act more important role, so that the potential energy will not become minimum in this case, okay, it has almost appreciable value, and that's why the shape almost become flattened. So these are the example of surface tension. Okay, so the formation of small drop of mercury, as you know, which has spherical shape, is mostly due to what? surface tension. But children, you know mercury is such a liquid which does not stick with the wall of the glass tube, and it's very shining. That's why mercury is also used in what? Barometer. It is also used in thermometer. But in this particular example that you saw, that all mercury of whatever drop amount will not become spherical, but only a very small amount of mercury drop become spherical. Okay, so children, I have explained 3 important example of surface tension, but as I said, there are other examples also. You can go through your book also. Now in the next YouTube video, we learn one of the important topic, okay, based on this surface tension also, that is the 2 forces, cohesive and adhesive forces.